Relax. Sit back as we fill your mind with spooky true crime stories of the deranged, unhinged, and absolute pure evil murders that will blow your mind. Some places we will visit to show you around and educate you on the history. Other times we will bring you to the paranormal because the dead never lie silent for too long. It will get you thinking, who is your neighbor, friend, or even your spouse? Who are you sleeping next to tonight? Could he be the next Ted Bundy? Welcome to the 50 States of Madness.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Should I start saying like good morning? Not really like when we're recording, but when people start turning it on. And I like to think that people turn it on right at midnight when we put it up.
That they're just like waiting for the clock to tick.
I feel like, you know, like the alarm gets set and it's like 50 States of Madness are coming out at midnight tonight. And then they set their alarm and then they wake up and listen to it. So I should be like, happy middle of the night. Happy 12 a.m. Good morning.
Well, okay. I mean, you can say what you always say. Good afternoon.
I do because we usually record in the afternoon.
Yeah,
unless it's in the morning.
Good evening. It's
we usually record in the afternoon unless it's in the morning.
It's in the morning. Yeah. Well, it's 5:13, and very shortly it's going to be pitch black at 5:13.
Yeah.
So it's going to feel like good evening instead of good afternoon.
Yeah. I don't really like the short days. I like them when they're longer.
I only do because it interferes with my walking.
Yeah. Well, I just think it interferes with a lot of things, like life in general.
At least I'm not working 2 jobs anymore. When I worked 2 jobs, I would start at 7 p.m. and I was totally fine to go to work at that time during the summer. But when it would get dark at 5 o'clock and I wouldn't have to be to work at 7, I was like, oh no, it's time for bed.
I'm ready to go to bed. That's how I am too. That's why.
I can't do it.
That's why I like it longer, because that's me too. As soon as the sun starts going down, I'm like, so right now, you know, it doesn't get dark till what, 6:30 around here. So that's usually the time I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's time to roll over into bed. And then last night I went to sleep at 8:30.
Oh, yeah. I eat dinner usually at about 5:30 every night.
Yeah, that's me too. I have old lady eating habits.
I don't know. I'm probably in bed by about 6.
Well, I was in bed by 7:30. I didn't go to sleep till 8:30.
Yeah, I'm in bed by 8 o'clock.
Whatever time the football game ended last night, Monday Night Football.
Oh, okay.
When the Saints were playing that other team, I have no fucking memory. But anyways, and I think the other team actually won.
I didn't even watch.
I can't even remember. Who was the team? Oh my gosh, it was last night. Anyways, as soon as the game was over, I turned it off.
Sorry for my cough. I still have a little lingering cough from Shannon's gift to me, so my apologies.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Well, what do we have today?
So this week we are talking about a pretty popular case, a pretty well-known case, Chris and Shanann Watts. And it's a rough one because it involves children.
That's always hard.
Little warning. But it was in the news, obviously, when it happened. And it's a pretty well-known case, I think. So, so I just figured that we would talk about it because it's always a case that's kind of stuck with me. That always has kind of piqued my interest a little bit.
And there's certain ones that hit harder than others or kind of stay with you longer.
Yeah, they do. And I don't know. These ones, when it involves kids, just always makes me wonder, like, what level of, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around it. But, I feel like in a lot of them, it's always like we never saw the signs, but like if you're to a level where you are able to kill your children and there's no signs, that's very scary to me.
That's psychopath level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's just, I don't know. So I'm just going to give like a brief rundown of Chris and Shanann. and then we will get into the actual timeline of what happened. So born Shanann Catherine, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, and I'm not even going to try. Do you want to try to give it a shot?
Rzousikis.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Because Zoukikis.
It's Rzucekis.
I'm wondering if the Z is silent, like Ruskis, like a Russian kind of like Rusikis, Ruskis. Yeah,
I don't know.
That is a tough one.
Yeah, so I'm not even gonna try to attempt that. And she was born to parents Frank and Sandra in Clifton, New Jersey. She later moved to North Carolina, where she and Chris met through social media. She said, "I got a friend request from Chris on Facebook." She says in the Facebook video, "I was like, what the heck? I'm never going to meet him. One thing led to another, and 8 years later, we have 2 kids. We live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me." Chris had a job as an operator at Anadarko Petroleum, and Shanann, I keep wanting to say Shannon. Shanann worked for a nutritional supplement company. From the outside, they appeared to be a happy suburban family, but Shanann's friends had recently started hearing about trouble in paradise. So I think they started out very well, but
like a lot of marriages.
But I think just prior to the incident had started to have some problems, and I think she was starting to talk to her close friends about it, but not to the point where they were worried that something like this was going to happen. Yeah. I think they just probably thought, oh, it's just, everybody has their bumps, but this was a little more than a bump. So on November 3rd, 2012, Shanann and Chris marry. They tie the knot in Charlotte, North Carolina. December 17th, 2013, the couple's first child, daughter, Bella Marie Watts, is born in Colorado. July 17th, 2015, they have their second daughter, Celeste, and they call her Cece. And it's also said that she had a hard time getting pregnant because she had lupus.
Oh, okay.
And so both pregnancies, she was very excited that she was able to actually conceive and have a full-term pregnancy and have healthy babies. So in June of 2015, they file for bankruptcy. With a combined total income of $90,000 in 2014, in addition to credit card debt, student loans, and medical bills, the couple filed for bankruptcy, stating that their $3,000 mortgage and $600 car payments took up most of their income, which was $4,900 a month.
Yeah, that's not a lot for a $3,000 mortgage to be making.
That's your whole thing. I mean, that's not even. Then you got $600 in car payment. Like, that's not food. That's not electricity. That's not utilities. That's nothing.
And the association fee. I'm wondering how they even qualified for a home that had a $3,000. Because I'm going to say that home was expensive then, because
I feel like there was a period of time where you could have gotten a loan no matter what you made.
You know what? That is true. There was a time when you didn't even have to show income. You can just
what
cool, your income was. You have good credit? Okay, here you go.
Take it.
Because that is so true. Because I'm like thinking, to be honest, my mortgage isn't even $3,000, and my house payment.
Yeah,
price of my house was high. You know? So that's crazy. Yeah. So
their homeowners association ended up suing them for unpaid HOA fees. So they had, on top of that, they lived in an HOA. Like they had to pay fees on top of that. So it just sounds like they were having obviously a lot of financial problems. So on May 5th, 2018, in a 31-minute long Facebook Live video, Shanann talks about her family life, saying, "I love waking up now on Saturdays and being able to enjoy my life," and talking about being excited about their upcoming summer in Colorado. "I believe that everything in life happens for a reason, and I also believe people are placed in our life for a reason." Chris can be seen playing with the girls in the video. So he seems like in this video that he's a good dad. He's playing, with the kids. She's on this Facebook Live.
She's not making any sense at all. But that right there is why I will continue what I do. I will continue fighting. I will continue not letting the haters get in my way. I will continue not letting people discourage me. I will continue not letting people judge me or what I do. I will continue not letting people influence my decisions on what I do in life. I will continue fighting for my children, for my husband, for myself.
That's crazy. 31-minute long Facebook Live. I don't know. That seems
It's odd, but
Yeah.
it says that she posted another video. I think it was maybe something she did often. It sounded
Yeah, it
like
does
she was
sound like
very she was very into social media, very active on social media. And so in another video, she wears a shirt that says, "Oops, we did it again." And that's how she kind of surprised him with the news of her pregnancy.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means,
That's just the test.
I know, it just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
And
this
so
would be
he
the third
reacts
one.
saying that's awesome. He's he's excited. So she's pregnant for a third time now. So on June 17th, 2018, Shanann posts a Father's Day message to Chris on Facebook. It says, "Chris, we are so incredibly blessed to have you. You do so much every day for us and take such great care of us. You're the reason I was brave enough to agree to number 3. From laundry to kids' showers, you are incredible, and we are so lucky to have you in our life. Happy Father's Day." So in June 2018, Chris starts talking to a girl named NicholKessinger. So NicholKessinger works in Anadarko at the petroleum place where he works at. They work together in the environmental department, and they would see each other. It sounds like the area that they worked in, they were around each other
a lot.
the majority of the day. So Chris came by her office, struck up a conversation one day. They have their first meeting outside of the office later in the month. So it sounds like things kind of started to progress pretty quickly once they had that first conversation.
And this is about 6 years into the marriage.
Yes.
So you know how they always talk about that 7-year itch?
The 7-year itch,
The
yeah.
7-year itch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Chris starts to see Nichol at about 4 or 5 times a week, and they start a physical relationship in early July. 4 or 5 times a week, to me, like, I know they see each other every day at work, but like
Outside of work,
you're seeing her 4 to 5 times a week. That's
that's a lot.
where does your wife think you are?
Well,
And she's pregnant, and they have 2 other kids.
Maybe they're going out to lunch. Maybe he says, "Oh, I worked till 7 today," and
I
he gets
don't
off
know.
at 3. Who knows?
Maybe.
Oh, I'm going to the gym.
Yeah, I don't know. So he tells her that he's almost divorced. Later that month, while Shanann and the girls are out of town in North Carolina, he tells Nichol the divorce is final. Nichol goes to Chris's home for the first time on July 4th, and they have their first phone call on record on July 7th. So he's bringing her to their home, to his family home.
Well, he's a piece of work.
They also go on a date to Shelby American Collection Car Museum on July 14th and spend the night at Great Sand Dunes National Park on July 28th, all while his family is away. On July 30th, he gives her a love note before joining his family on vacation.
I wonder what he tells her or where he's going, you know? But I guess since they just started dating, he really doesn't owe her an explanation, but still, you know?
I mean, the fact that he's seeing her that many times in a week, regardless, and you're bringing her to your home.
I just don't understand at this point why you just don't get the divorce. I just don't understand that.
Just leave.
Yeah. Just move out.
Just go.
yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
So on July 31st, Chris flies to North Carolina to join his family. Despite it being a family vacation, texts that Shanann forwarded to a friend show signs of trouble between the couple. Further messages also show that there was tension between her and Chris's parents. And I'm guessing the tension, while you're doing all this and you're spending the night at the Great Sand Dunes National Park and all that, she's probably can't get a hold of her husband.
Of course.
She's probably over there with the kids trying to call him to say, hey, honey, good night. Or the kids want to talk to you. And he's not
busy.
picking up the
no,
phone.
He's busy.
Yeah, he's not answering the text, not picking up the phone.
Mm-mm.
So, of course, by the time he flies over there, there's tension.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, there's suspicion about what's going on. And then, like you said, he's not home 4 or 5 nights a week. Now, all of a sudden, she's starting to put the pieces together.
And she's pregnant.
Yeah.
She's pregnant.
So on August 4th, 2018, Nicole starts shopping for wedding dresses online. So just weeks after they started talking, Nicole's cell phone data shows she looked at wedding dresses online for 2 hours. So he's already talking about marriage with this other woman.
Yeah, and he's telling her that his divorce is almost final.
Yeah. And to jump into
So you're ready? You're just waiting for the date for your divorce to be final so you can go do this all over again?
Yeah. And I don't want to bash on Nicole because she was fed a lie. But to me, if a man was just going through divorce, I wouldn't be rushing into marrying him.
To me, it sounds very similar to the Amber Fry situation and Scott Peterson.
It does. And I'm always wondering what's that mindset like, oh, this man's getting a divorce and I just want to jump in there and marry him right away.
What was her mindset? Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably be like, oh, you know what? Let's date, for a couple years. See how, you know what I mean? See if you're really over your wife. I don't know if somebody's with somebody for
especially when
6
there's
years and 3
kids
children
involved and she's pregnant.
Yeah. How are you going to feel after the baby's born? But I wonder if she even knew if she was pregnant.
I
Who
doubt
knows?
it.
So on August 9, 2018, Shanann leaves on a business trip to Arizona. After confiding to friends about her troubles with Chris, she texts a friend that she and Chris had their best talk yet before she leaves on her trip. She even drafts a handwritten letter to him. He's had the best talk with her because he knows she's leaving. So he's in a good mood because he gets to go see his side chick.
Yep.
So that's why he's all in a good mood.
Of course.
So on August 11, 2018, Chris hires a babysitter and goes out with Nicole.
That grinds my gears.
Yeah. She's out on her business trip. Well, we knew he was going to do that, right?
But the thing is, you're going to, instead of spending time with your kids, you're going to hire a babysitter to go see this broad.
Yeah, he'd rather not deal with the kids. It's already showing, right? While Shanann is away, Chris gets a babysitter, and he says that he's going to a baseball game with coworkers, but goes to a bar with Nicole. On August 13, 2 days later, at 1:48 a.m., Shanann returns from her business trip. Around 2 a.m., friend Nicole Atkinson.
So there's two Nicoles
Yeah,
here.
I was going to say, don't confuse it with our other Nicole. Her friend, Nicole Atkinson, gives Shanann a ride home after she returns from the business trip. Chris wakes Shanann as he's getting ready to go to work and wants to talk about their marriage and future. According to his later confession, despite Shanann carrying their unborn son, who they had already named Nico Lee, he tells her about his affair and that their marriage won't last. Shanann replies that Chris won't see the kids again, and he strangles her to death. Bella, who was 4, comes in and asks what's wrong with Mom, and Chris wraps Shanann in a blanket and carries her to his truck. He puts the 2 kids in the back seat and drives to his work site. He then smothers Celeste in the back seat and puts her body in an oil tank and does the same with Bella in another tank. Chris also buries his wife's body in the ground nearby. Chris later says, I left for work early that morning, like 5:15 to 5:30, admitting that he and Shanann had an emotional conversation. Later that day, Nicole Atkinson becomes worried when she doesn't hear from Shanann. I called her and texted her several times. I knew she had a doctor's appointment that morning because she's pregnant. She didn't show up for it, and I was even more concerned. Shanann is reported missing at around 1:40 p.m. Atkinson calls the police, who does a welfare check. Shanann's phone, keys, and purse are found at the house. According to the news station, Chris says, she said she was going to a friend's house with the kids, and that's the last thing I heard. And that was it. It was very vague.
First of all, your wife gets home at 2 o'clock in the morning from just being gone, and you decide at probably 4:30 or 5 in the morning
when you wake up, which is probably even earlier than that because you have time to talk to her.
You're going to wake her up and decide that that's the time to talk about your marriage and tell her that you're cheating on her.
That's not the timeline I'm going with in
Like,
my brain.
I mean,
I know we only have his side of the story to go by on what happened, but I honestly don't think that happened. I think it started when she got home at 2 a.m.
of course. I mean, yeah, it's
Especially with her being upset with him already when she's gone.
right.
And she comes home. I'm guessing she might have woke him up to talk to him. You know what I mean?
Probably. Of course.
I'm just
Of
speaking
course.
from a woman's point of view.
Yeah.
Like what I would
Because you wouldn't be
probably
able to
do.
sleep.
I wouldn't be able to hold it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I couldn't reach you when I'm gone on my business trip.
Yeah. What's going on?
You're-
What's happening? Like,
Yeah. I just
so we'll put some of the video in, but there is footage of when her friend calls the cops to do a welfare check, and the cops come to the house, and you hear the friend like explain, you know, what happened, and she had a doctor's appointment, she didn't show up, and then he comes home, and you can see how he like puts his hands on his head, and like he starts to get really, really nervous.
he probably thought he had way more time than a few hours.
Yeah,
he
of
didn't
course.
assume that a friend was going to be worried so quickly
Of course. And call.
and call.
Wife and 2 little daughters. Nicole Atkinson knew something was wrong when her best friend Shanann Watts didn't turn up for a doctor's appointment. She immediately called police.
I can't get a hold of her. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are by the front door.
The police body cam video shows Chris Watts arriving home. Imagine his surprise at finding cops already at his house. He had just disposed of the bodies of his wife and children in an oil storage facility where he worked.
Nobody's heard from her, nobody's seen her.
But thanks to Nicole, he's had no time to get rid of personal items that his wife would have taken with her if she was staying with a friend, as Chris Watts was claiming.
Her phone's here? Yeah. Her phone's here.
She also discovers Shanann's purse.
That's her purse. It's her medication. She takes these, her medication's still in here.
Nicole is clearly worried. She knows something is wrong. Watts tries to avoid making eye contact with her. Because of Nicole, his story is already falling apart.
And it's really just, it's interesting to see how he acts. And there's also, so the neighbor that lives next door to them has a ring cam. And on this ring cam, you see his truck back up into the garage, and you could just see the back part of it. You can't see like what he's doing, but you see his truck back up, and then he takes off, and the neighbor tells the cops, like, the neighbor's like, I want to watch this in front of him. I want him to watch this and explain like what's happening. And
what time was
he
it at?
just starts to get like really, really nervous. It's like early in the morning. And he's starting to get really, really nervous. And he's like, oh, I'm just loading and unloading my truck and blah, blah, blah. So as soon as he walks like to the other room, or no, he leaves, because this video is they're actually in the neighbor's house, and the neighbor's showing them this. So Chris leaves, and the neighbor says to the cops, like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like
The
right
neighbor-
away, he's like, he did something.
And there's also footage of when she got dropped off that morning, right? The
Yes,
ring
she's
camera
at the
went
door.
off, and
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
see
you
her
see her at the door.
coming home that
Yeah.
morning as well.
Yes.
So they do know that she made it back home.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And she never left after that.
Yeah. No.
And now all of a sudden
she
she's
did, just
missing.
not on
Yeah.
her own.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that doesn't make sense is why would he pull past this part? You can see him pull past.
Are you able to record this?
I'd have to call Comcast, but I can get him to do whatever. But watch, you'll see him get out. And he walks back and forth a couple times. be completely honest with you, my wife and I were kind of wondering when she was on vacation if something happened, because I've heard them full out screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, and he gets crazy.
Does he? And that's pretty recently?
Yeah.
So on August 14th, 2018, Chris pleads for his family's return on the local news.
And
which
I'm sorry, can I just interject right here? So at this point, what is Nicole thinking with her boyfriend on there pleading for his wife's return?
Right.
Bombshell at that point.
Could
for
you
her,
imagine?
if she really
You just
did
start
not
dating
know,
this guy,
Yeah.
and you think like,
if she really didn't know.
I don't think she did.
Okay.
I don't think she did.
I don't think she knew that he murdered her, but I'm saying if she really didn't know that they were not going through the divorce.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
You would like to believe that she didn't, but again,
Yeah.
who knows? So as the Colorado Bureau of Investigation issues an endangered missing alert, Chris talks to Denver's ABC affiliate and pleads for their return. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like if somebody has her, just bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring them back. And he is completely emotionless. He's not, which again, we've said this before, just because the man's not crying and breaking down doesn't mean he's a murderer, doesn't mean that he's guilty, doesn't mean he killed them. But if my wife and my kids are missing and I'm on the news making a plea for their return, it sounds like he's placing an order at Jack in the Box. It sounds like he's just talking,
just saying
very
the words
nonchalant
that he thinks that you're supposed to say.
Yeah, and he's just kind of standing there with his arms crossed, like it's I don't know. You start to look at like body language and stuff like that, and it really, you can just see like something's up. Something's up with this guy.
Right now, it's got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. And right now, it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened? Your wife came home. Tell me what's.
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say but she never got back to me. But she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well, and that's what really concerned a lot of people. Is like if she's not getting back to her, like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. Like she gets busy during the day, but she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home, and then walked in the house, and nothing was vanished. Nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nobody was here.
What's your wife's name?
Shanann, Shanann.
What's your kids?
Bella and Celeste.
How do you spell Celeste?
Celeste.
How old are your daughters?
4. Bella's 4. Celeste is 3.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times, just to say, what's going on. Like because after I called her and texted her once, it's like maybe she was just busy. Like she had just gotten back. Like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like. It registered like, all right, this isn't right.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think?
I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, like I want them back now. Like that's what's in my head. Like if they're safe right now, they're gonna come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like if they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here.
So on August 15th, Chris fails a polygraph test and admits to killing his wife, falsely blaming her for smothering their daughters. So...
yeah, this is where his story changes.
Yeah. So the FBI joins the search for the missing mother and the daughters. Chris confesses to his father, Ronnie, and then the officials that he killed Shanann, but falsely claims that the reason for her murder was because she had smothered the daughters. So he claims
he woke up
that she killed the daughters and that's why he killed her.
Yeah, like he woke up and he saw her putting a pillow over their face.
Yeah.
And so then he
killed her because of that. There's also video of him telling his dad when he's being interrogated.
Downstairs. I don't want to protect her. What? I don't want to protect her. You don't want to protect her? I don't know what else to say. What happened? Huh? She hurt him? Yeah. And then I freaked out. Well, no, I freaked out, not her. You hurt her. Did they leave after that for a long time? So she started hurting the kids. Paper. Probably you guys want to know. I didn't hear anything. And then when I was downstairs, they came back up and they were gone. I don't know, like me talking to her about that. Talking to her about separation and everything, about like when she lost her. I don't know, like, what else to say, like, I freaked out. Those are my kids. It's very sweet. And it's not that one time. You were leaving the place and going to work. And she freaked out over the separation and everything. I think she laid back down, but that's when I went downstairs, but I heard like a little commotion upstairs, but I didn't think anything of it. And then we went back upstairs and she was never, I could see like she was not up. Well, choking her or did she kill her? They're blue. Both of them. Yes. She choked both of them to death. I freaked out in the same thing with her.
And I can't imagine being a parent and having your child confess something like that to you. Like, what do you do?
I'd like to think that I'd get up and walk out of the room and never talk to them again. Because those are my grandbabies. That's how I like to think I would
probably be thrown behind bars because I would probably choke the life out of my kids.
Yeah.
I would. It would be very hard for me to restrain myself.
Yeah.
Like and again, like you don't, who knows what you would do when it's a hard situation, it's kind of goes back to like the Gabby Petito thing and the boyfriend, like his parents, like
helping him,
like what would you do? Like you don't know. So on August 16th, Shanann, Bella, and Celeste's bodies are found. The 3 murdered bodies are recovered at his work site. So
So then, not only does he kill them, and not only is he sleeping with a coworker there, he takes his wife and kids. That's where I'm going to bury
their bodies.
Where my side chick works.
Right? Like
I'd be so disturbed if I was Nicole.
Yeah, this guy.
I don't think I'd ever date another man again.
That would ruin me.
That would absolutely ruin me.
Especially being that there's kids involved. Like I would be like, okay, I'm done.
I would already in my head I'd be like,
it's gonna be me and my dog forever.
I have a bad judgment in men. Like obviously I can't judge them, and I just it's kind of hard to be able to be level-headed after something like this. That's
you know,
crazy.
So the same day, Chris appears in Weld County Court for a bond hearing, and he is denied. Also on this day, NicholKessinger speaks to police, saying, "I legitimately think his cheese was sliding off his crackers long before he met me."
But she didn't see that his cheese was sliding off the cracker. I have no idea what that means. I guess maybe he's going crazy.
I think there were obviously signs before they started dating, but
yeah.
So why didn't you just dip out?
Thank you.
I mean, come on.
But yet you're shopping for wedding dresses.
Right? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Nicole.
Well,
please explain.
I know what she's trying to say. She's trying to say, like, I'm not the reason why his wife and children were killed. I think it would have happened anyways.
No,
I think that's maybe what she might be trying to say. She didn't want to be blamed.
And
which I don't blame her.
Ask questions. Why are you going through divorce?
Yeah.
Why are you guys getting divorced? Like, what led you to this? Like,
well, because I think the same as you were mentioning with Peterson case and the girlfriend, where she was a target afterwards. Like, why were you dating a married man?
Absolutely.
Like, people were angry at her, and I think Nicole didn't want to be wrapped up in that. Like, hey, wait a second, I'm already coming out saying, okay, something was already wrong with them before I started dating them. But
cheese
you're
sliding off his cracker.
I know, that was funny.
So on August 21st, Chris is charged with first-degree murder. A week after he pleaded for their safe return, Chris is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder plus 2 additional first-degree charges for victims being under 12 or younger. I always go back to, like, the family. Like, what must his parents be thinking? What must her parents be thinking? What must the neighbors be thinking? What is happening, like, in their circle of friends?
Insanity.
I just can't. I don't know.
For things lesser than this, we go crazy and bonkers in our head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just, this guy.
It's almost like not even
a week
real.
After. So
yeah.
He cracks super fast too. So
I
don't even know.
Think, like, did you think you were going to get away with this?
No, I don't think he did. That's
what did you think was going to happen?
I don't think he thought, because his personality, like, by him not even being able to hold it for one day, like he's like already like polygraph. Okay, failed the polygraph and now he's admitting to it. Like, I don't think he thought it through. And
I'm going to bury him at my work.
I'm like, thank you. I'm just, yeah.
Clearly this wasn't thought out.
No.
So additionally, he faces another count for the unlawful termination of a pregnancy, plus 3 counts of tampering with a body, a total of 9 charges. So yes, let's not forget that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Also.
Another baby.
Yes. So September 1st, a funeral is held for Shanann and the girls in North Carolina. Shanann, Bella, and Celeste are remembered at their funeral at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Pinehurst, North Carolina. During the 90-minute ceremony, which started with singing of Amazing Grace, Chris is never mentioned. The priest reads a statement from Shanann's father: "You are nothing but pure love, always caring for everyone. You will always be Daddy's little girl." I'm sure that would have probably been an extremely hard service to attend.
Yeah, but I would have kept it positive. I would have kept his name out of it too.
Absolutely.
I would have made it a day just for them.
Yep. So on November 6th, Chris pleads guilty to all 9 counts. Chris appears in court, pleading guilty to all 9 criminal accounts. Shanann's family requests that the death penalty not be sought. On November 19th, Chris is sentenced to life imprisonment. Judge Marcelo Kopkow calls the murder spree perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime I have handed out of the thousands of cases that I have seen, issuing 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole, including 48 years for unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy and 36 years for disposing of the bodies of his family. Also on this day, Shanann's parents file for a wrongful death suit against Chris, which obviously they know that they will never see any money from this.
No, but they don't want him to have anything
but
either.
he won't profit from anything from it either.
Yeah.
So
if he writes a book or
nothing,
puts all the money will go straight to them. Yeah, of course.
So December 3rd, Chris is transferred to a Wisconsin correctional facility. Due to safety concerns, Chris is moved from Colorado to Dodge Correctional Facility in Wisconsin. On February 18th, Chris confesses to killing his daughters in a detailed explanation. In a 5-hour interview from prison, Chris recounts the harrowing details of his young daughter's final moments and confesses to killing them and disposing of their bodies. This was like the epitome of being angry, the epitome of showing a rage, the epitome of losing your mind, he said, even admitting that older daughter Bella asked if he was going to do the same thing he did to her sister, and that the 4-year-old tried to fight back. That
breaks my heart.
No words. So on November 18th, 2019, Chris is ordered to pay Shanann's parents $6 million. Almost a year after Shanann's parents filed the civil suit, Weld County Judge Todd Taylor rules that Chris owes Shanann's parents $6 million. That's $3 million for each death and $3 million for emotional pain. The amount will grow with 8% interest. Wow. So he's going to be... while they'll unlikely get any money from him, it prevents him from profiting from the murders in any way. So he can do whatever he feels he needs to do, and we'll never be able to collect anything from it.
And on that point, I want him to do. I want him to do as many
interviews so they
as
can get
paid, and the family can get. So
I mean, and not that money's going to fix anything, because her parents have lost everything.
Yeah.
Their daughter, their grandkids.
And I was going to say, there's no kids around.
No amount of
money
money is going to bring that back. Yeah.
It's just
no amount of money is going to bring that back, but
a whole family taken out.
Yeah. So it's really scary to me to know that there's people like this, and obviously we know that there's some very disturbed people in this world, but to know that these could just be, it's just an everyday person that you could be passing. Could be your neighbor, could be anyone.
Yeah. You can have the next Ring camera.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Footage.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's so true.
Yeah. It's really scary to think that the shit like this really happens.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that was the story of Chris and Shanann Watts.
I'm just really sad because of the babies.
No, it's very sad. No, it's very sad. It's horrible, and it sucks because, this isn't the only one.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. We've done
a
lot of these kind of stories.
And it's funny because even Gina was mentioning today, like, a lot of the research you do are on well-known cases. And you find a lot that, aren't very well known. And there's just so many out there. Like when you think like how many, husbands have murdered their wives, or how many serial killers out there, you think, okay, there's only been a handful of serial killers because I can think of Jack the Ripper. You kind of go down.
There's so many that like
there are. It's like, and there's some still active today that aren't solved. It's just we've gone over those numbers before.
No, it's crazy.
It just blows your mind.
Yeah,
and I just don't understand as human beings
like
we can't be kind.
You have to think with the amount of stuff that we've just discovered in the research that we do. You have to at least pass by a handful of these people in your lifetime.
Oh yeah, for sure, and escape them. I think about that, like stupid stuff I did as a teenager. Like,
oh yeah,
how many times I probably was this close, or like in my other dimensional world where I'm dead. Like I just say, I always think, we have all these multiple lives and the multi-universe. Mm-hmm. But like every decision we make takes us on a journey.
Yep.
And how many of those times where my life was saved because of a decision I made, as opposed to making the wrong decision. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy to think that. So
that's why I tell you guys every week to stay safe.
She does. She tells you to stay safe.
Please. We want to see you back next week.
Yeah.
But
so on that note,
thank
you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody who's bought our merch.
Thank you for all your input, comments. I love it.
Yeah. Everything. We love reading your comments.
I do. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah. So if you
even
would
when
like
they're corrective.
Yeah. We haven't got any of those in a while.
No.
But there's always
because we're perfect.
But there's always some out there for sure.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to support us on Patreon, we are at 50 States of Madness. Nope, we're not. We're on patreon.com/50 States of Madness. And if you would like to purchase some of our merch, we are at 50statesofmadness.bigcartel.com. We are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything, all social media platforms at 50 States of Madness.
Yes.
And if you notice again that we have a new logo, shout out to Ted, Shannon's dad, for our new logo and for our new intro.
Yes.
So shout out to Ted for that. And yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you so much. Have a great week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye. Stay safe.